This is a 60s-style civil rights freedom ride reborn. These high school students are rolling 10 hours through the night from Detroit to the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington to keep affirmative action alive.
I feel as though there's a lot of barriers set here in America. Hopefully this march can give us some type of power.
In Michigan, a university can favor students applying for admission who are athletes, rural residents, even musicians. But by state law, they cannot give preferential treatment to racial minorities. And many here like it that way. In 2005, Michigan voters passed a resolution changing the state constitution to ban affirmative action.
Somebody who's more qualified merit-wise or more qualified grades or anything like that who doesn't get a job, doesn't get accepted because somebody who's from a lower socioeconomic status, is from a different area, and I just don't think, a different race, I just don't think that's fair.
Since the law went into effect, the number of Black and Latino students entering Michigan's public universities fell by a third. The number of minority students at the University of Michigan Law School fell by half. The court has made it clear in earlier rulings that universities can make race one factor they consider. Now the U.S. Supreme Court will decide if voters can say no.
I think it's a very tough case for the challengers to that provision. I think it's a tough case because there's nothing in the Constitution requiring a state to engage in affirmative action, and the people of the state have simply said, we don't want to do it.
Supporters of affirmative action argue the Michigan law unfairly disadvantages minorities because the university's board of directors can give preference to other groups, but not minorities, without changing the state constitution. If the court upholds the ban, that could encourage opponents of affirmative action to seek similar bans on campuses like this in one state after another across the U.S. Defending affirmative action is more complicated than ever in a nation that now has a Black president.
It was a great gain that we are able to have an African American president. I think that was a real achievement. Having a Black president does not mean that we live in a post-racial society.
As lawyers argue in court, these modern-day freedom riders are taking their argument to the American people outside. Hendren, Al Jazeera, Detroit.